Hey everybody, welcome to Robbie Rants Live here at Pop Culture Philosophers. Today, we're going to be chatting live about comic movies, pop culture, and a whole lot more. We'll be going over some of the recent news from San Diego Comic-Con, including Marvel Studios slate for Phase 4, so that's very exciting. We'll be talking about the upcoming Jonathan Hickman, House of X, Powers of 10, and beyond, doing all of that jazz. And we'll be talking just about this upcoming week's new comics. What's up, Atari? How are you doing? What's up, Adam? Glad to see you here. Just woke up to a nap to hear this, which lets me know the first answer to my first question. Can you hear me? So that's super, super cool. Once you get in here, jump in, join the chat. That's what we do. We chat about comic books, movies, pop culture, and a whole lot more. We got a lot to cover tonight. Some real exciting news from San Diego Comic-Con this weekend. Fantastic news about MCU Phase 4, about the Hickman X universe, who's going to be doing those new books, what they're going to be. What's up, Eddie? What's up, Carlos? What's up, Roman? Man, I'm so hyped for this weekend, too. So we usually start off with talking about last week's pick of the week. So we can go ahead and do that. What's your pick of the week from last week? Mine was Little Bird number 5. I loved the finale. Really highly anticipating going back and rereading the entirety of Little Bird. So everybody hit that thumbs up button. The last 3 live streams, we've been able to hit just as many thumbs up as we had people in on the stream chatting about comic books. So what was your pick of the week last week? Mine was Little Bird number 5. That will be the first question, but very shortly we will get into all the San Diego stuff once more people get into the room. Roman says Silver Surfer Black 2 and Vampirilla were his pick of the week, or their pick of the week. I didn't read the Vampirilla. I am a Christopher Priest fan. How was it? I typically stay away from Vampirilla. It's just not quite my thing. But there was a little bit of intrigue about Christopher Priest on that. As far as Silver Surfer Black was absolutely a blast. It was so fun. Great cosmic, exuberant artwork by Trad Moore. A great story by Donny Cates. Donny Cates is telling, between Venom and Guardians and Silver Surfer and all this stuff, just keeps going. He's telling this one big overarching story that's going to wind up in a big event, I trust. Going to end with a big event, probably, guarantee it. We got more people in the room. How are y'all doing? We're talking about picks of the week. What was your favorite comic book of last Wednesday? Rapid says that the Silver Surfer 2 was their pick of the week as well. What's up, Adam? Hello again. Hey, Robbie, remember Dead Rabbit? That was by Emmett. It had to be canceled or recalled. Yeah, I do remember. Yeah, it's coming back as Dead Eyes. Still the same story. I believe they're going to re-release the first 2 issues, I believe, under the new title, I think. I'm not sure about that, but I did see that news. I totally neglected to mention that in my weekly pop culture wrap-up. But yes, Dead Rabbit returns as Dead Eyes. So that's very exciting. We got more people joining the chat. What was your pick of the week last week? That's what we're talking about. Chris says Collapser was a pleasant surprise. I really liked Collapser a lot. I got an early look a few weeks ago. I thought it was good, decent. It was really good on the second reread, or a second read. Not a read. It was the reread, I should say. Really liked it. Thought it was good. Mikey Way. Really good art. Who was the artist on that? I can't remember. What's up, S Squared? How you doing? I consider S Squared one of my homies. Gideon Falls was amazing. That was a trip. On Twitter, I release my top 5s usually on New Comic Book Day in the morning. You can follow me on Twitter at the Rockin Robbie. This week is one of those weeks where I decided to go top 10 because there were so many great books to spotlight. Gideon Falls wound up at the bottom of that list, which to me says a lot about the quality of some of the comic books of this last New Comic Book Day. I really liked it. Gideon Falls is amazing. It's a good trip. I love that book. Sarah, pick of the week, A1 Collecting. Sarah and the Royal Stars from Vault Comics is a great high fantasy with a little bit of Persian and Asian influence into it, art-wise and story-wise. That was really great setup. I read issue number 2. It really takes that momentum and increases it like tenfold and really blazes a very exciting trail. So if number 1 didn't quite sell you, I think issue 2 will. Same thing with Resonant. Resonant number 2, a fantastic second chapter. I'm really loving Vault Comics and everything that they're doing right now. Carlos Surfer kept the momentum going, and the artwork by Tradd Moore was reminiscent of Asian mythology. I loved it. I get exactly what you're saying. Did you see that variant incentive cover that they had where it was like the symbiote planet swirling around Silver Surfer trying to get away, and then his face is the outline? Oh my goodness, it was gorgeous. Tradd Moore's artwork is obviously not for everybody, but it's for me. Absolutely love Tradd Moore's work. They did a reprint / facsimile of the original Warren Vampirilla magazine from the 60s. It even had the old ads for things like Famous Monsters magazine, all the good classic spooky stuff. I love the classic good spooky stuff. I saw the facsimile edition. Looks really, really cool. I'd really love it if they would do like a facsimile edition of like Creepy #1 or Eerie #1 or something like that. I love me some old school horror. How was the new one? Okay. Yeah, that artwork and comic scale of the Surfer. So yeah, that's great. Roman, how was Vampirilla #1? Obviously, you said it was one of your picks of the week, so it must have been good, right? What's up, Eric? How you doing? Yeah, Resonant #1, same good stuff. Great stuff. Great stuff. Resonant #1 was so good. A great post-apocalyptic survival tale. Really, really liked it. The artwork by Alejandro Aragon is fantastic. And you add in the coloring by Jason Wordie, and it's absolutely splendid. Everybody who's a part of that book, and who's the letterer? The letterer escapes me right now. Every single bit, is that Bennett on? I can't remember right now. Every single bit adds to this element. I've been saying this at the store. I wish I would have been able to say this a little bit better in maybe my advanced review or the weekly comic book review, but like Resonant is one of the best comic books I've ever read or ever experienced that was able to capture the essence of sound so well. From the story, hyping up its tension, building that up, building that momentum, to the artwork that is already gritty and textured, and then so is the coloring. But when it gets to the end of the book, when the wave comes and the bugs start chirping and everything, the lettering gets all crazy, the coloring gets all warm and red and hot and flashy, and the artwork gets a little bit more scratchy, a little bit more dissonant in a way, and just absolutely bonkers to the wall. You feel as if you're hearing chaos when you get to the end of Resonant #1. And I absolutely think D.B. Andre, Aragon, and Wordie and company, they just nailed it. I just don't know if Vault can do a bad book right now. Now, they got an upcoming announcement by Tim Seeley, Money Shot. Makes me nervous. I'm not the biggest guy on things like pornography or anything like that. So it's basically about a scientist who is able to fund continuing research and exploration into space, goes into space to make porn videos with aliens, right? So I don't know. We'll have to see how they handle that. But that's an interesting concept, at least. But Resonant was great. I think at my shop, more people responded more to Resonant than Sarah and the Royal Stars. I think Sarah and the Royal Stars it maybe got hurt just a little bit because it's a high fantasy and it's not everybody's cup of tea. It's definitely not my cup of tea, but I really like that book. The way it was set up was something more like Amethyst, something more like She-Ra. So I like that kind of world building that was done, the lore that has been revealed so far, and especially in issue #2 for Sarah and the Royal Stars really kicked it over for me. But Resonance just great. They're two completely different books from Vault Comics, and they're just really cranking out some diverse content right now that's all fantasy or sci-fi, or now dipping into horror, and then of course comedy at times. Like really great stuff from Vault Comics, and everybody who follows this channel knows that I love Vault, Adrian, Damian, everything they're doing, Tim, Nathan, the whole team. They're just doing fantastic. They got some of the best creators. They got some of the best stories. They got some of the most original content and some of the most groundbreaking comic books as far as layouts, design, storytelling, composition. Fantastic work from Vault Comics. So, of course, I always got to give a shout out to Vault Comics. What's up, Paul? How are you doing? Tradd Moore's artwork is a sort of patternized, colorful design. I get what you're saying. I love Tradd Moore. Fantastic stuff. This is the second time in the show where I ask everybody, please hit that thumbs up button, crush it if you will. We're trying to hit as many thumbs ups as we have people in the stream. And we've done that for the last 3 streams, so why not tonight? Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's see what's going on. Joe, how you doing? I'm happy to see Fantastic Four movie announced. Jimmy Olsen #1 was fun. That's your pick of the week. Jimmy Olsen #1. Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen was great. I don't think I've covered this a lot on the channel, but people that know me in real life, as if this isn't real, none of it's real. Question reality. But what was I saying? People that know me know that I really have a disdain for Jimmy Olsen. People know that if I got a hold of Superman books, like if I was a writer and editor, the first thing I do would be to kill Jimmy Olsen, get rid of him. I'm not a sidekick guy. I do like Robin and a few others, but I don't know. Jimmy Olsen's just never done anything for me, really. I've hated him on screen. I've hated him in comics. Man, this book was awesome. This book was really cool. Even in the Jack Kirby Jimmy Olsen, I don't like Jimmy Olsen, but Matt Fraction made me like Jimmy Olsen, and he really brought about the best of the Kirby issues and the best of all the other classic Silver Age Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen issues. He's brought out all that with something new, something different. And I met him, I keep talking about this, but I've met him for the first time at Heroes Con, and he was talking about Jimmy Olsen, and he said that structurally, it's one of the most difficult books that he's ever written. And he's very reverent when it comes to writing Superman. And he said that he feels like he has a presence looming over him when he writes the dialogue for Superman. And he's got such a respect for the characters. He's got such an understanding of the history and what made Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen back in the day ran for a long time and had a lot of quirky, campy, silly stuff. And he's able to take that. And I wouldn't say it's a grounded book, but it's as grounded as Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen could be. I loved it. I thought it was great. Fantastic book. And Steve Lieber's artwork was near perfection. It's fantastic stuff. What's up, Herminio? Herminio? How are you doing? Batman 75, your pick of the week. I liked Batman 75. I know how people feel about Tom King's Batman. A lot of y'all know how I feel about Tom King's Batman. It's inconsistent. It's up and down. It's got some pacing issues. I loved 75. I loved the setup for City of Bane. I absolutely adored it. I thought Tony Daniel's artwork was some of the best yet. I love the Garrett's pages. Really, really liking where this one's heading. Just read the Fissure trade paperback from Bolt. Quick and nice read. Very strange in terms of S. You've lost me there. I don't know what you're talking about there. I like Fissure. Fissure is written by Tim Daniel. The artist, I can't remember right now. Who's the artist? I've read Fissure. I like it. I like it a lot. It's about, there's a town. Oh man, it's been a couple months since I've read it. So there's a town near the border of the U.S. and Mexico, and it's got like a portal that's opened up that monsters are coming out of or something like that. So it's slightly border town-esque, but I don't know. I liked it though. I did like it. But now I did like Fissure. I don't think it was the strongest Vault title. I hate to say that about any Vault title, but you got to be honest. And honesty is one of the things we value. It's one of our company tenets here at Pop Culture Philosophers, PCP. But I do like Fissure. I think Fissure's pretty good. Trying to hop on to more Vault stories. Just finished Wasted Space. It's become one of my absolute favorites. Wasted Space is one of my absolute favorites too. And Michael Morisi, the writer of that book, is such a great fellow. Never met him personally. He's been nothing but nice to me online. He's been super cool. He's given me advanced looks at things. Great stuff from Michael Morisi. I read his, I almost brought it for show and tell today. This is my life. This is great. I almost had it for show and tell tonight, but I got his first Star Wars-esque novel that he did, The Black Star Renegades. It's totally unabashedly Star Wars, like a ripoff of Star Wars, but it does its own thing, and it's one of the most fun, direct, adventurous books I've read in a while. Of course, I've been reading some heady stuff, and I've been kind of knee-deep into Stephen King's Dark Tower for a while. Here and there, I read some light fare, like a Star Trek book or two. But I do need to finish The Dark Tower. I'm 2 books away from done. I just need to go ahead and do it. I just feel like a burden would be lifted off. I'm really into Dark Tower, but it's a burden to read. I really feel like reading it in real time would have been better, and waiting the whole 30 years, whatever it took. Anyway, so yeah, what were we talking about? We're talking about Wasted Space. Michael Morisi is a great dude. Hayden Sherman's artwork, he's quickly becoming one of my favorite artists. I think he's doing amazing work right now on books like Thumbs, Wasted Space, of course, and Mary Shelley, Monster Hunter. Mary Shelley, Monster Hunter has quickly become one of my favorite comic books of 2019. Like, unabashedly so. I think that book is amazing. And Sherman colors himself on that one, and it is, oh my goodness, the colors. I love the colors in Wasted Space. That's Jason Wording, but who colored Resonant, who colored God Country, the Donny Cates, Jeff Shaw classic, I would say. I really love Wasted Space. I love Sherman. I love Morisi. I love the whole team. Wasted Space is such a fun book. I'm so glad we're getting 25 issues out of it, at least. I would pray for more, actually. I want it to go 50, 60, 100. Why not? That's what I'm saying. We have more people in the room. How are y'all doing? We're talking about our favorite comic book from last week. Mine was Little Bird number 5. What was your pick of the week? That's what we're talking about right now. Hit that thumbs up button. We got 11 thumbs up as I speak. We got 25 people in the room. We're almost there. Let's have as many likes as we have people in the room. All that jazz and more. Anyway, so but Michael Morisi is a super cool guy. He's got a couple books coming out from Vault right now that he's co-writing. One is Maul, which is post-apocalyptic. It's like Dawn of the Dead years later without the zombies. I've read the first issue of that. Really good stuff. And I've read the first 10 pages of The Plot, which he's writing, co-writing with Tim Miller, who wrote Fissure, and of course is on staff at Vault Comics and does design and does a lot of those variant covers that everybody likes from issue number 1s that are the homage covers he does with Nathan Gooden. Wasted Space is so awesome. So awesome. What juice do I use? Actually, I use Bombi's Nano Cream for the most part. That's it right there. 3 milligrams of nicotine. That's what I use for pretty much all the time. Every once in a while, I try a different juice, but for the most part, that's my everyday vape. Chris says Friendo is his favorite Vault title. I love Friendo as well. In fact, I love Friendo so much. I think it's so relevant and so important to today's culture that we are covering Friendo in season 2 of Comics Revisited, which starts August 1st with Marvels celebrating 25 years. So very excited to cover Friendo. But it's not going to be the first Vault comic we cover on Comics Revisited, because the 3rd episode of season 2 is all about Dennis Camp and Vittorio Astoni and Aditya Biddekar's Maxwell's Demons. And that was my first Vault comic book, and to me, still their best. And I absolutely love it. And saying that a Vault comic is the best, I mean, we're talking about tiny minor degrees. Carlos, you're right. One of the best things about Wasted Space is how it balances the philosophical undertones. Mike Morisi is saying a lot with this book. He's saying a lot about belief. He's saying a lot about religion. He's saying a lot about politics. He's saying a lot about society. He's saying a lot about morality. He's saying a lot about just individual experience in life. And he's doing it in a very fun and at times flamboyant and provocative way. And it's very much what Preacher was in the 90s. This is kind of pretty much it. We're talking about these deep philosophical discussions amongst kind of raunchy characters in a raunchy setting. That's what it is. And also you got the quest to find the creator, to find God, and make the creator answer for what has happened to the world or the universe. It's very much like Preacher in space, but definitely has its own voice. It's fantastic stuff. What's up, Nelson? Welcome. How are you doing? Our good friend Nelson in the house. Nelson, what was your pick of the week last week? I think you told me what it was. Someone had mentioned Herminio, had mentioned Batman 75. Nelson didn't like Batman 75. It actually made him drop the book. It took 75 issues, Nelson, for you to decide to drop Tom King's Batman. That's crazy. That says something about Tom King's reputation, doesn't it? Because Tom King is so almost anything he touches is gold. Almost. I did not like Heroes in Crisis, and sometimes I do not like his Batman run. But I'm loving it right now. But we all have our different tastes, and that's okay. Oh, Carlos, you could totally tell Maurice's a huge Star Wars fan. Huge Star Wars fan. And have you read Black Star Renegades yet? If not, you definitely should. And he's got a second novel out in that series called We Are Mayhem. I have not read that one yet, but tempted to just go ahead and get my free Audible credit and use it to get the We Are Mayhem. I hear they're really good audiobooks. And Wasted Space is going to be an audio drama, and I think that's so exciting. He's going to be in Memphis this October. Memphis isn't too far away from me. I've never met him in person. That'd be super cool. I like how everybody welcomed Nelson. That's so cool. We're talking about our picks of the week last week. What was your favorite comic book of last week, everybody? That's okay, S squared. I lose my words all the time, too. Yeah, how about them first place Yankees? How about them? We got Hammer Time Holshoe here. He says, I did call that Portman Thor thing in the MCU for real, though, months ago. I mean, it makes sense. She's a big-name actor. It makes sense to borrow from the storyline of her as Thor. John, I remember talking to you about Thor, especially when we lived together, and we were talking about it, the Jane Foster Thor. I was telling you how good it was. And you said, straight up, Marvel would be idiots not to bring Natalie Portman in to do that story. And I was like, it's never going to happen. You were right. I was wrong, and I'm glad. No problem, Dodora. How are you doing? Yeah, Squirt. I love Jane Thor. I love Jane Foster as Thor. I know it seems to be divisive amongst some people. I love it. I think it's great. Not a This Week book, but Invisible Woman issue 1 has me wondering if they might introduce Sue Storm into the MCU via the Black Widow movie. That would be kind of interesting if they did that, and maybe they will set up something like that. I know a lot of people thought David Harbour was going to play Ben Grimm in the film. Turns out that's not true. He's playing Alexei. We didn't get a last name, but I'm just going to say Red Guardian, the second Red Guardian, is Alexei. So, speculators, that's a book you might want to check out. First appearance of Red Guardian. I'm so excited for that new Blade movie as well, Joe. Mahershala Ali is a dream pick for the role. Seriously, such a great actor, an Academy Award-winning actor. Was the best part of Luke Cage. I'm so sold. And yeah, it is Phase 5. I think there was some miscommunication. I'm pretty sure Phase 4 is what we saw, like all the official titles and dates, right? If it had a date, it's officially Phase 4. That's 2 years. They've already committed to shorter phases, shorter overall storylines. We'll see. I can't really piece through the announcements like a thread of a story that they're doing. But remember, it took a while to get into the Infinity War, so maybe they're building up. Maybe they're just trying to make some good movies again. They've been making good movies. But yeah, Blade, I think Fantastic Four, sure, the mutant stuff, sure, the sequels to Captain Marvel, Black Panther, and Guardians 3, I think that's all Phase 5. Logan, how are you doing? I'm great. Super excited about Jane Foster as Thor. Jane Foster as 4. What's up, Bros Collections? Oh, the Snipe Blade movies. The first 2 are amazing. First 2 are amazing. Yeah, Frendo's great. You're right. Very provocative. Adam's liking Flash a lot lately. Me too. I loved Mr. Miracle. If you're talking about the Tom King, Mitch Gerads one, loved it. Loved it so much. I also really like the Jack Kirby stuff, the original Jack Kirby stuff. Yeah, Orlando, I'm actually looking forward to Strange Adventures by Tom King, Mitch Gerads, Doc Shaner. I'm really excited about that. I think that Tom King does his best work on underappreciated characters, like Omega Man, Vision, Mr. Miracle. So I'm excited. Yeah, Tom King just won Best Writer Eisner for the 2nd year in a row. Most of that on the back of Mr. Miracle, I'm assuming. Silver Surfer and Little Bird were your picks of the week. Thank you, Reggie. Good old Reggie. Reggie pointing out to everybody once again that there is a tip/donation jar down there. So feel free, but don't feel like you have to do that to get your comment addressed, because that's what we do here on Robbie Rants Live. We chat amongst each other. Thank you so much, Reggie. Reggie has just been the best. Man. Reggie, people like you're the reason why I do this. Like all of y'all are the reason why we do this. You know, I just have a passion for comic books. I have a passion for sharing this love and movies, comics, all that stuff and more. Thank you guys so much. And Reggie in particular right now, thank you. That's much appreciated, homie. Yeah, Sean Murphy, you talking about Batman Curse of the White Knight? Yeah, it comes out this week. We'll be getting to this week's comic books here in just a second. Huh. What's up, Brett? How you doing? I appreciate the Blade middle name. That's cool. Mangog or Gore are the villains for Thor, Love and Thunder. That could be really cool. I'd love them to do the Mangog thing. That'd be really cool. And I'm sure they're bringing in the God Butcher, for sure. If they got one movie to do Jason Aaron's entire run, they're doing Gore, right? Chris, he is perfect for Blade. I haven't seen True Detective, but I hear he's fantastic in it. Carlos says, I feel like I read that Portman wasn't happy with the slate of the MCU at the time anybody else read that. I'm thinking the added diversity, and I'm sure a nice paycheck reeled her back in. I 100% agree with you. I do know that she had a slightly contentious, like not so much like Ed Norton, but she didn't really want to do any more MCU films. And I was really surprised by this announcement because of that. But definitely because of the visibility of the role as far as a woman being Thor. And I'm sure an added bonus in that paycheck really helped that and elevate her cause and brought her back to that show or brought her back to that movie. Marvel did have a fantastic weekend, Reggie. And so did we here at PCP. Thank you so much. Yeah, I really like Gotham Girl, her usage. And, Gotham Girl, the problem with Tom King is this has been a drawn out story that I think could have been done a lot simpler in shorter issues. Which is me. It would be cool if Galactus is at the end credits of the Fantastic Four movie, because I'm pretty sure Galactus is a big enough threat to be like the main threat coming up here on the far horizon for the MCU. Absolutely. We didn't do a movie review for Street Fighter, Eddie. You talking about Mortal Kombat? I wanted to do Street Fighter, and someone commented, because in the movie review for Mortal Kombat, I'm sure that's what you're talking about, but in Mortal Kombat, I was kind of pissed at the PCP Army for picking that one, because I did not have fun on the revisit of that movie. It was just, none of us, like even Brooks, who is the coolest dude, and is like rated almost every movie at 3. Every bad movie for sure. Mortal Kombat's a bad movie. So is Street Fighter. And someone commented, if you guys think you're going to have much more fun watching Street Fighter, it ain't any better. No, it ain't. Mortal Kombat's probably a better film than Street Fighter. But Street Fighter's so ridiculous, and Raul Julia's performance is in Bison sells it for me. So we did just launch a new poll over at the PCP Army, our official Facebook group. For the next movie choice, we did not put Street Fighter on it this time. We're just going to do Street Fighter on our own. But the theme of the next one is 90s like superhero-y type movies, pulpy, things like that. So if you're on the PCP Army, be sure to go there and find the pinned post at the top of the group. If you haven't joined the PCP Army, please do. Join us over on Facebook and chat about pop culture news and movies, all that stuff, a whole lot more comic books. We have a good time over there. And right now there's a poll where you get a voice, a choice in the next movie review that we do. And we got Darkman, Spawn, The Phantom, The Shadow, and Dick Tracy. And right now Spawn is winning, but it's neck and neck with Darkman, actually. Yeah, I would say Marvel won San Diego Comic-Con as well. I think most people knew that too. That's why they backed off. I'm shocked that my homie Jeff Lemire, the hardest working man in the industry, didn't win Best Writer. Can you believe he only has 2 Eisners for Best New Series? I agree with you. My pick for Best Writer of last year, and that's what the Eisners are for, was Jeff Lemire. Royal City, Descender, Black Hammer, Gideon Falls. Come on. I think he was a better writer. This cereal is a new one. It's Hershey's Cookies and Cream Phillos. It's cream-filled cereal. It's kind of Crave-esque, but it's actually apparently got a lot of meat to it. It's the heaviest cereal box I've ever had. They have this, and they have a cinnamon roll variety. I finally found them in my area last night. So I'm very excited to be trying it out. But I do have a few boxes of cereal open right now that I usually get through first before I get to that. But I'm very excited to try it. I hear good things about it. It is incredibly heavy. So it means it's got a lot of dense, sugary cream inside of it. You got the orange Power Ranger cover? That is so badass. I'm jealous. I am jealous. Yeah, they did it for a Make-A-Wish thing. They had a kid design his own Power Ranger. It's an Orange Ranger for the new Beast Morpher series, which I know as Go Busters. I'm jealous. That's an awesome cover. That's funny. You know, a lot of people kind of got a little about the F-bombs that were dropped in the Mortal Kombat movie review. What's crazy is that you guys should listen to the podcast. There are a lot of F-bombs dropped on that one. But yeah, we do try to mostly keep it clean here on the channel. Mostly. I felt with Mortal Kombat we could, on the movie reviews, we kind of go off a little bit, usually because Brooks can't be reined in. Brooks will drop a random F-bomb sometimes, and just out of nowhere, for no reason. I think he did it on the Lion King movie review. Man, something like that. I don't know. Repo Man, what are we talking about? Oh, the Emilio Estevez movie? That makes me think of the rock opera, Repo, the genetic opera. I love that one. Adam, who's your second favorite writer? Jeff Lemire? Who's your first? Donny Cates? No, you don't like Cates. Who is it? Who is it? Big Trouble in Little China is the best Street Fighter / Mortal Kombat movie? Huh. I would disagree. I would say Bloodsport. When I was watching Mortal Kombat, it made me want to watch Bloodsport. I really was excited to rewatch Mortal Kombat. I was very excited. I loved that movie as a kid. Seems like on the next one, we're going to have to either watch Spawn or Darkman. I loved Darkman. I also loved Spawn back in the day, but it didn't age well for me. But I haven't seen Darkman in like 20, 25 years. So I'm pumped for either of them. Any 5 of those movies that won. My pick, the one I voted for, was Dick Tracy. I haven't seen Dick Tracy since I was a kid. I really want to watch it again. Chung-Li was bad as well. I never saw that one. The one with Lana from Smallville. I never watched that. I'm not going to get the Unicron figure. It looks badass. I don't technically collect Transformers figures, though. I do have an Optimus Prime, and I do have a Sea Spray. Is that his name? Because it was one of my favorite toys when I was a kid, was the Optimus and the Sea Spray. And I do plan on getting a Megatron, like the tank one from G2. You edited out the F-bomb, and it still is making me review it, Chris. It's crazy. Yeah, Lemire needs to win more Eisners. Well, the shadow right now, Dodora 73, with Alec Baldwin, is dead last in the poll. So if you're on Facebook, you should get over at the PCP Army and vote for it. Lemire's great. Oh, man, yeah, if you like cereal, you should definitely try it. It's supposed to be good. Like, I hate Crave, and my favorite YouTube channel about cereal is Cereal Time TV. And Gabe did a review on Philos that was amazing. And just like him, I hate Crave. So, heck yeah, Dodora. Someone's going to approve that. John, you're right. No one can control Brooks. He does what he wants, no matter what. Jeff Johns is your favorite. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's a good writer. The magnificent Mr. Brooks. You're right. We've started a new thing on the channel where we harmonize his name. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, I haven't seen Darkman in forever. Yeah, I would rewatch all of them. I wish we had the time to do all of them, but we don't. All right, let's look at the new comic books coming out this week. We talked about our picks last week. Now let's talk about what's coming up this week for June 24th, 2019. We'll start with Dark Horse. We got Aliens Rescue. It's a new Brian Wood Aliens book. He's kind of been nailing those books. They've been very solid. We got Invisible Kingdom number 5, Starcraft Survivors number 1. And they're doing a hardcover collection of the William Gibson Alien book, the Alien 3 unproduced screenplay. So if you're interested, check that out. From IDW, Clue Candlestick number 3 out this week. Disney Comics and Stories number 6. Dungeons and Dragons A Darkened Wish number 2. The Glow Summer Special one-shot is out this week. GoBots gets the trade paperback collection, the Tom Scioli. That's actually pretty cool. Lodger gets a trade paperback collection. Magic the Gathering Chandra number 3 is out this week. Marvel Action Avengers number 6. Marvel Action Classics Hope number 1. Some all-ages fun. My Little Pony Friendship is Magic number 80. Night Moves number 5. Sonic the Hedgehog number 19. The final issue of Star Trek The Q Conflict, that's issue number 6. They're speaking of Michael Morisi and Star Wars, they're doing the Flight of the Falcon trade paperback finally. I thought that last one-shot was a collection of all of it, but it's not. And TMNT Rise of the TMNT Sound Off number 1 is out this week. That's IDW Publishing, as they like to call themselves. From Boom Studios, we got Bone Parish number 11, the penultimate issue. Lumberjanes number 64. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 41 with a foil Red Ranger cover. Super cool. Super cool. From other publishers, we got Archie 706 and Archie vs. Predator 2 number 1 from Archie Comics this week. At the End of Your Tether number 2 this week. From Aftershock, we got Dark Red number 5. We've got Drawing Blood Spilled Ink number 3. That's the Kevin Eastman book. Electric Black number 2 is out. Grumble number 8 is out this week. Honor and Curse number 6. Killer Groove number 3. That book's been fantastic. Great stuff there. Livewire number 8. That book's been really good. Planet of the Nerds number 4. Psylords number 2. And Walk Through Hell number 12. We'll get to Image, DC, and Marvel here in just a second. Fearless does come out this week. And so does Arkham Knight. Not Arkham Knight. Curse of the White Knight. My bad. And so does Funeral Pyre. You guys want to go ahead and get to it? Let's do it. Image Comics this week. We got Ascender number 4. Curse Words 23. Farmhand number 10. Lazarus Risen number 2. Middle West number 9. Redneck number 22. Self-Made in trade paperback. Skyward number 15. Weatherman number 2. And the final issue, Wicked and Divine, number 44. Is that the final issue? Pretty sure. I've been trade waiting that one. I fell out of it, but that's such a good book. I'd be sad to see it end, but I like a good ending. But that's Image Comics. It's a great week for Image Comics. Yeah, Chris, I'm reading Farmhand. Farmhand is great. I love it. I hope this Detective Comics is good too. Speaking of Detective Comics, let's talk about DC. Action Comics 1013 with a cardstock of Year of the Villain cover. Frank Whiteley's Lex Luthor. Very excited for that. Looks super cool. Batgirl 37 is out this week. I believe that's supposed to feature the new appearance of Oracle, the new Oracle, something like that. It's an Event Leviathan tie-in. Batman Beyond 34 is out this week. Batman Curse of the White Knight number 1. I've read the first issue. It's good. If you like White Knight, you'll like Curse. Books of Magic number 10. Detective Comics 1008. Dial H for Hero number 5. Flash 75, which is the finale of Flash Year 1. Freedom Fighters returns with issue number 7. There's a House of Whispers trade paperback from the Sandman Presents universe. Justice League Dark number 13 with an amazing Year of the Villain cardstock cover spotlighting Cersei. Looney Tunes 250, that's a milestone issue. Martian Manhunter number 7 is out this week. Scooby-Doo Team Up number 49. The Terrifics number 18 with a cardstock Bizarro cover. And Wonder Woman 75 with a cardstock Cheetah cover. It's pretty BA. We'll get to Marvel here in just a second. Yeah, Detective Comics is starting a Joker by Peter Tomasi. I thought the first story was really good. The mythology arc, it was really solid. And then it kind It's a light fantasy book. It's about a kid running away from his abusive father, who also happens to be like an air elemental tornado demon type thing. So it's got a little bit of light fantasy element to it, but nothing super, super heavy. It's a really nice personal story about a kid running away and from his abusive father and from the fear that he may be just like him. It's the penultimate issue for Wicked and Divine. 45 is the last one. People are saying they're losing me. Y'all still here? Give me a sound off. Who still got me? Nobody? Everything seems fine on my end. S squared is here. Logan's there. Okay. Heck yeah. Good. All right, from Marvel Comics this week, Age of Conan, Belit number 5. That's the final issue. Amazing Spider-Man 26 is out this week. Doctor Strange 16. Fearless number 1 is out this week from Marvel Comics. That's going to be hot. Guardians of the Galaxy number 7, starting the Death of Rocket story. History of the Marvel Universe number 1 is a retelling of the history of the Marvel Universe by Javier Rodriguez on art and Mark Waid. Very excited for that. The most exciting comic book for me this week is House of X number 1. Jonathan Hickman starts his legendary X-Men run. That's a bit presumptuous. House of X number 1 is finally here this week. The Magnificent Miss Marvel number 5. The second printing of Marvel Comics Presents number 6. It's out this week. That was the first appearance of the new daughter of Wolverine. Marvel Rising number 5. The Marvel's Epilogue number 1 is out this week. That's super cool. Secret Warps, the annuals continue on through the Arcanite. Shiri number 10 is out this week. Star Wars 69. Swordmaster number 1. Tony Stark Iron Man 14. Valkyrie Jane Foster number 1. Hot on the heels of her recent movie news. Web of Venom is here with Funeral Pyre number 1. And there's a facsimile edition of X-Men 137, which is the original death of Jean Grey. But it turned out to be a clone. Not real, right? Like a cloned body or something like that. You've never read any Blade, where should you start? Well, with the Blade comics, I'm going to tell you this. There aren't that many excessively great Blade comics, right? If you want a more modernized Blade, check out the recent issues of Avengers, especially Jason Aaron's second or third story arc where he featured the War of the Vampires or whatever. That was really good stuff. There's been some stuff like the Bart Sears run, of which this is the first issue of. It's okay. There was a Marvel Max run. It's okay. There was a Don McGregor run that only had 3 issues come out. It was supposed to be like 6, I think, and it never finished. It's okay. There's some appearances here and there that are pretty cool. Night Stalkers is a nostalgic favorite of mine, but I wouldn't say it's a good book. But as far as Blade goes, read Tomb of Dracula, the original 70s stuff by Marv Wolfman and Gene Colan. There are complete collections out right now. I believe on eBay you can find the essential versions that are a little bit cheaper. They were cheaper in the day. I don't know how cheap they are now. Tomb of Dracula is where it's at. Its first appearance of Blade is Tomb of Dracula number 10. That's what you want to read. Then you want to read some of the Marvel horror magazines that they did spotlighting Blade from like the 70s. That's the best Blade stuff for me. I do like things here and there. There is a one-shot by Bart Sears and someone else, can't remember who wrote it. Was it McGregor? I can't remember. It was called Sins of the Father. It's collected in a trade paperback that has this run in it. And it also has that Don McGregor run that never finished called Blood and something like that. That's decent stuff, but definitely Tomb of Dracula is where the best stuff is for me. So what's your favorite announcement from Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Mine was Blade. We're talking about Blade. I put some Blade stuff right here. The time at my place local is 7:45 p.m. So there's some of my Blade stuff because I'm so pumped for the Blade announcement. We got Mahershala Ali as Blade. He played Cottonmouth in Luke Cage. Was the best part of that series for me. He's a 2-time Academy Award winner, I believe. He was in the last season of True Detective. So excited for this. Yeah, if they did a Blade 2099, they could cast Wesley Snipes, and that would be cool. I'm super pumped for Jane Foster's Thor 2, Chris. What was your favorite announcement from the MCU for San Diego Comic-Con? Mine was Blade. And yeah, I'm right there with you, Logan. It's kind of a tie between Thor and Blade because it shocked. Both of those really shocked me. They had gotten to the end of the panel, and I was like, oh, okay, so we didn't get too much more information. We know who's playing Shang-Chi, and we know the dates of some movies and all this stuff. And then Jane Foster, Thor, Blade, what? And then just a brief mention of Fantastic Four and Mutants was enough to get us excited too, right? Oh, man, I'm right there with you. What If's going to be really cool. I was really excited that Jeffrey Wright is going to voice the Watcher in that series. Really cool. What If's going to be on Disney+. I'm sold on Disney+ on these MCU Phase 4 announcements alone. I'm really excited about it. It's going to be like a What If. It's going to be animated. It's going to be a MCU What If. And the original actors are going to come back to do some voice work for it. So you'll have Chris Hemsworth as Thor. You might have Chris Evans as Cap. It's going to be really, really fun. Really cool stuff. More Blade people. I think Michael Jai White is, I get it. I think Michael Jai White would have been a great Blade in the 2000s. You know, Chris, the rumor is that, so Shang-Chi's father is like the head of like a criminal organization in the comics, and I think they're going to make his father the Mandarin in the movie, and the Ten Rings is going to be like an international crime organization, and I'm totally cool with that. Reggie, I'm right there with you. Monica Rambeau in the MCU in current day. That's very exciting. Obviously, set up in Captain Marvel. See her full grown. That's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. Yeah, Joe. Doctor Strange 2. I didn't really like Doctor Strange, the first one, that much, but I love Benedict's performance in Infinity War and then into Endgame, but especially in Infinity War where he was spotlighted a little bit more. So I'm very excited about this. They say this is going to be their first horror film. I love how they say first scary film because obviously we got Blade coming up. But having Scarlet Witch in there and the rumors of Nightmare, very excited, very excited. You got to tell you this, Wally's Nerdery. I would have thought Fantastic Four would have been my favorite announcement too. However, the Blade thing came out of nowhere. We were 100% expecting an announcement on Fantastic Four. That was my biggest disappointment. I was kind of geared up for the announcement of a movie or a cast or both. But having Blade announced and the casting of Blade really outdid it. Once they announced the cast for Fantastic Four and a date, I'll be a lot more excited. But I already knew that the MCU was doing FF, right? It's just nicotine. Yeah, all he did was mention Fantastic Four Mutants, where he mentioned that he didn't mention them, I should say. But it is a confirmation that they're happening. What do y'all think about the Jonathan Hickman X-Men universe? A bunch of creative teams on some X-Men books. Very excited for those. I'm more excited for just Hickman stuff, right? Like Hickman's doing the X-Men book that doesn't really have a core team, it seems. It's going to focus on the Summers family, it seems like, from the cover. And, of course, Wolverine. But we got some exciting news there. We got the X-Force book, some interesting teams. X-Force Fallen Angels by Brian Hill. That's really intriguing to me. Excalibur, that's a really neat team. X-Force is a great team, though. No Nightcrawler on any of those teams. No Archangel. What's going on? What's going on? But I'm very excited for Hickman on FF. I mean on X-Men. He's already been on FF. I was excited for that, too. I lost my page of notes. Where'd they go? So what, are you guys really excited for this Jonathan Hickman X-Men stuff? Because I am. Is everything cool? Is everybody still here? Darkwing Duck. I didn't pay attention I didn't notice Warpath being gone, but definitely noticed the Archangel and Nightcrawler were missing. I'm really concerned about that. But who knows? All right, everybody, this is another time where I tell you to hit that thumbs up button. We got 23 people versus 16 people. If we can get those numbers even, That would be fantastic, and it would hit a goal of ours. Yeah, the Russo brothers are producing a Battle of the Planets movie. Chippendale's Rescue Rangers would be such a cool reboot. Are they actually rebooting that? Is that an announcement today that I missed? Because that would really be really, really hype. And Darkwing Duck, like, is that a real thing? Like, because I have not heard this yet. And hit that thumbs up button. Yesterday, I missed that news completely. I saw that they showed a season 2 DuckTales trailer, but I didn't see any of that other news. That's cool. That's crazy. Super cool. Super cool. All right. Let's go ahead and get to it. Movie review poll over at the PCP Army right now. We mentioned it earlier. If you remember the PCP Army, or if you're not, go over there and get a part of it. Be a part of this. We're doing another audience choice movie review pick. We got some really fun choices. Darkman, Spawn, The Phantom, The Shadow, and Dick Tracy. So be on the lookout for that. It's over at the PCP Army right now. Get your voice heard before the poll ends in like a week or two. Something like that. Time for the question of the week. This week's question is this. What are, aside from Pop Culture Philosophers, obviously, what are some of your favorite channels here on YouTube that cover comic books? I want to know. I want to know who to look out for. One of my favorite ones that I've recently got introduced to was Joe Ryan Comics. So I got to give Joe a shout out here. Joe Ryan's Comics is a fantastic channel. He does videos where he looks at this upcoming week's comics. He does like a weekly comic book review like I do as well of the books that he reads. He's got a positive portrayal of comic books. He's a super cool dude. Really, really like his channel. So absolutely fantastic stuff. If you guys have not checked out Joe Ryan's Comics, you definitely should, because he is fantastic at what he does. And if you like the spirit of what we do here at Pop Culture Philosophers, you'll like his channel too. Do I cover fragrances? Maybe, sometimes. I'm glad some people here know and are familiar with Joe Ryan. You guys should give him a comment. Tell him I said, what's up? Comic Tom 101, Jim's Comics, and Comic Book University. Haven't checked those out, Logan. I'll definitely have to check them out now. Reggie likes Joe Ryan as well. Just see. When I first saw his stuff, I was like, he's right along the line of what I do, and definitely does his own thing with it, and that's super cool. I like it. His production value is insane. I watch his videos, and I'm like, I wish I put more time into my videos sometimes. Comic Tropes, that's a good channel, Chris. It really is. It really is. Anybody else know Joe or any other comic book channels here on YouTube they want to recommend? Now's the time. I really got to pee. Either end the stream in just a couple minutes, or I just dip out and pee. I don't know what to do. Well, thank you, Logan. I really appreciate that. Roger, I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing? Jim Mint Collectibles, they got great content there. JCS Comics, not familiar. I have to check that out. Kate Joel does great stuff. Near Mint Condition, haven't checked that out. S&B Nation, haven't checked that out. Detailed Comics, haven't checked it out. Most YouTube comic channels I find are all about speculation, not the actual comics. Yeah, and that's a valid thing to do, absolutely. And there are plenty of people that do that. Simple Man Comics does a great job of speculation and stuff like that. Not what I do, not what Joe does. Comics with Bueller, I hear good things about him, but I haven't checked out. Excuse me, I haven't checked out that channel. Reggie Simmons is Reggie. Do you do comic book videos? I didn't know that. Yeah, I've never been to Comic-Con. I really should. It seems hectic, though. Seems crazy. Seems crazy. Cartoonist kayfabe is great for process and history. I have to check that out. He gets review creds on the ads of comic covers. Joe Ryan, I don't know how to word that better. You know, I've never gotten a pull quote ever. And the day I get a pull quote on a book or an ad, I am going to lose my shit. Oh, there's another Reggie Simmons, apparently. There's only one Reggie Simmons for me. I have to check it out. This is a good exercise in the delay here on the channel. Once again, hit that like button. We're nearing towards the end of the stream. We got, if we can get 5 more likes, we'll hit our goal. Oh, kayfabe is Ed Pisker's channel. Heck yeah, that's super cool then. I'll have to definitely check that out. Love his work. Oh, y'all responded well. That's awesome. 3 more likes, 3 more thumbs ups. We can do it. We can do it. We can hit this goal. We can do it. Thank you, Japanade. I really appreciate that. All right, now we need 5 more. If we can get that, that would be great. It's time for show and tell. So, Robbie, what's the news with Ghost Rider? I kind of didn't understand it quite fully. They kind of went through it too quickly for me to understand what's the new story going to be about. I'll tell you this. Ghost Rider is going to be back. There's a new book by Ed Brisson and Aaron Cutter. It's going to be focusing on Danny and on Johnny. We know that Johnny right now is the king of hell. Marvel teased something happening in December. They teased their events, you know, War of the Realms, Absolute Carnage, and then something happening in December. And all they showed was like a crown on fire. Immediately made me think of Hellboy. Immediately made me think about the crown of hell. And I think that Jason Aaron's leading into, along with others, some stuff about Ghost Rider. I think they're doing a Ghost Rider-centric story at the end of the year / beginning of next year. Thank you, Wally. Appreciate it. Danny was Ghost Rider in the 90s. In the 90s, Ghost Rider was huge with the Spirits of Vengeance book, and Johnny Blaze was the Ghost Rider of the 70s and 80s, but Danny Ketch was the Ghost Rider of the 90s. And a lot of people's introduction into comic books was into Ghost Rider and comic books was Danny that are my age. Heck yeah. All right. Time for the show and tell. So we've shown this Skeletor figure a few times. I showed it last week, and I said as soon as I get the He-Man, I'll open it up. Well, I got the He-Man. Here are both of them on card. They won't be on card for long. There's a piece of me that doesn't want to open them. But there's a piece of me that really, really does. I have not read all the Jason Aaron Ghost Rider, no. Yeah, Comic Tropes is great, Nelson. I checked them out. So let's open up the Skeletor first. So what these are is they're figures that are done like the old school He-Man Masters of the Universe figures, but they're done with the color schemes of the animated series. And I've already shown one of these out of package. It was Mike's, I believe. But let's open it up. It hurt a lot of people's feelings, including mine. All right, these are by Super 7, by the way. So it's open. No turning back. So, oh, I thought this was going to be a reprint of the comic books that used to show up in the old ones, but it's not. Damn, not at all. But it's a cool little card there. All right, so he's got his staff and his sword here. And what's really cool about the accessories, let's open these up and show you, is that he has his staff and he has his sword. And as you know, Skeletor has half of the power sword. He-Man has the other half. So, comes with his staff right there. Comes with his sword, but it also comes with his half of the power sword, so you can combine it with He-Man's. Let's take the figure out. There's the figure right there. Super cool. I was worried about his head because his head's a little loose on this figure. I knew that was going to be an issue. Damn it. Anyway, let's go ahead and put the sword in his hand. He's Skeletor. And he looks like he would glow in the black light, but he does not. And he does have a wobbly head. I knew it. It looked loose. Maybe I can fix it somehow. But yeah, there's the Skeletor. There's his staff. Super cool, right? Super, super cool. Now let's open up the He-Man. So here's the He-Man. Like I said, pretty much the same figure from back in the day, but it's got a little bit of a different color combination on it. Let's open it up. Bam. He's got his little card too. A comparison of the colors and all that stuff right there. He, of course, has his sword, his shield. I like the idea that they put the full sword in there and the combined sword. The originals have both. So He-Man figure right there. And they still do the He-Man thing, you know, that thing. So the Skeletor. So that was his action feature. He's He-Man, whatever. So there's the He-Man figure. It's really cool to have a He-Man figure. Anyway, it was literally the last one. So yeah, he's got his sword. He's got his shield. Well, oh, it goes this way. I don't want to break it. There we go. Yeah, He-Man's half into the power sword. We talked a little bit about House of X, Nelson. What else you want to say? I'm super pumped. Excited to see how this goes, how it sets up what's to come, how it sets up Apocalypse to be in the Excalibur book. There it is. Oh, it doesn't go together super perfectly. But there it is. The power sword. Can I see it doesn't really quite. But yeah, there it is. Whoops. There it is. The power sword. Ultimate power. Masters of the universe. Y'all lagging a little bit. Nelson, I'm right there with you. I'm super pumped for this X-Men run. We will be covering it, of course, this week on the weekly comic book review, late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning. A lot of fun, other little surprises this week. So super pumped. We are at the end of the live stream for tonight. There will not be a live stream next week. I'm taking the weekend off. We got a podcast we're doing. We're finally doing the Sports Movies podcast. Very excited for that. We're doing some work on Comics Revisited Season 2, which starts August 1st. And if you're on Patreon, patreon.com/PCP, you'll get an early advanced look at that video. So if you want to support us financially, you can do it here on the live stream with a donation or a tip, or you can do it at patreon.com/PCP and unlock a little bit of extra content. So thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. Hit that thumbs up button. We didn't hit our goal this week, but it's okay. We'll hit it next time. I appreciate everything. You guys are helping support a positive place here on YouTube for comic books, pop culture, movies, television, and a whole lot more. Really do appreciate everything, y'all. And I hope you all have a great week. We'll see you on the weekly comic book review. You dig? Thanks for rocking with us. Dip out.